Nowadays, people might think that physical appearance is a major concern. They have to be so well shaped in order to be accepted. Why is that so? Try to imagine that these people don't have eyes. Will a company accept them? Imagine that these people are deaf. Will even their families accept them as part of their gang? Probably not. But in fact, this is what actually happening right now. More than 200,000 people with disabilities in Indonesia. 43.3% are women and 56.7% are men. And mostly 65,431 people are physically disabled. Even 50% of the population of 1 billion people are disabilities in this world we are stepping on right under our feet. More than 100 million kids are disabilities and there are 4 times more chances to be abused physically. This is a fact, this is not even a spoof. But why people or government aren't taking this as a major concern? What if their rights are being violated? Who's going to enforce their rights? The World Health Organization said that those people with disabilities have poor health conditions, low education achievement, little participation in economic basis, and the main problem is the poverty rate that are even higher compared to those people with physical capabilities. Indonesia is part of the countries who also signed up for the Conventions on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in 2011, which means Indonesia is part of the worldwide countries who also support to provide the services toward disabilities. But in fact, they still feel like they have problematics in gaining the same right with people all around. Not only that, even they have obstacles in gaining education. Just like the case in 2014, one of the requirements in State University National Selection entrance was people with not disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, there are more than 3 million people are infected by COVID-19 in Indonesia, and more than 20 million people have been vaccinated, while there are also more than 500,000 disabilities people have been vaccinated by the 1st June of 2021. People with disabilities have more risky to get infected by COVID-19 due to their underlying medical conditions. Looking at the medical records, they who have disabilities have more therapies, and these are way more risky to get infected. More fun fact, adults with disabilities are 3 times more risky to get infected by heart disease, diabetes, and some other health issues compared to normal people. Aside from the health issues, they also might get constrained in receiving aids. This is especially unfair compared to those people who can buy safety equipment and aids. Believe it or not, people with disabilities recently face unseen discrimination and injustices. By all words starting from gaming, people with disabilities are recently drifted away. Look, some markets vitamin stock are bought by people in massive way just because they want to put stock from themselves. You are thinking for other people's needs as well. What about those people with disabilities? The normal people would complain about that, but what about those people with disabilities? They seem to be silenced by all those people's greediness. Here, let me share my story, which is one of my heart-attacking incidents that I snapped with my own eyeballs. So a week ago, I went down the street while enjoying the 5 p.m. vibes. I had my handy bag with me with some bottles of tea inside. While taking a walk, I suddenly met a 30 years old disability man who was being pushed and slapped in his arm by 2 young men. He couldn't speak due to his deformed mouth. He could just give the unclear shouting voice. I was startled and I said to myself, hey, he is physically abused in this deserted place and no one knows that except me. What should I do? Well, after that, some people passed by and they stopped doing that. Moving on 2 years ago, my teacher and me went to a place where he said there were 2 elders who were homeless and the woman suffered elephantiasis. Her leg looked sore and swollen while the man stayed beside her. There we talked for 1 and 2 hours and my heart was flattered that they got abused and bullied by all people around there. They seemed to have a hopeless eyes. They were slanted, they stole flip-flops. I felt that emotions, sorrows and sadness that were glued inside their hearts. Finally, we decided to give them foods, drinks, money that we raised together, and flip-flops. I was so delighted to see them smile even though I don't know what would happen in the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that people deserve a happy and endless love. I do believe that people have the same access and education and social basis. Look, what would you say if you were in their position? No one even told the police. No one even told this to the accused. Is this what they call individual rights? Is this what they call the humanism? Were they supposed to be treated like that? They have fun in now. Look, they can't have the same education, employment, economics, and health treatments. Whereas you can see where there are so many people with physical capabilities, but they seem to use their time for useless things. What about their with disabilities? People corrupt, doing violences, spreading charges. Again, what about their with disabilities? Every time the alarm wakes me up, I always wonder that I can wake them up too. Wake them up and tell them that our world is facing the moral crisis, that our world is missing the people who love, care, and are concerned about everyday living. It's not all about money, legacy, or flip-flops. It's all about universal rights. Let me tell you something. Hey, we are one united people born in our beloved country, Indonesia. They need our help. They need our assistance. Remember one thing. 5,000 rupiah won't result in lack of food. 10,000 rupiah won't result in lack of daily needs. 20,000 rupiah won't result in low dignity. 50,000 rupiah won't result in share loss, and 100,000 rupiah won't result in poverty. I always believe that how we think will determine how we become. So please, everyone, start from now on. We take this responsibility to help our friends, to increase the concern of the young, well-educated adolescents. Tell the world there are still strengths, future, and hopes. Start from ourselves, because we are one indispensable chance. We are Indonesia. Thank you.